Hey guys, it's Joyce from the Joyce Collective, and I'm so happy you're here to watch yet another video from Germany. So today I wanted to share with you how I adjusted my Hong Kong lifestyle to live here in Germany. And for someone who has been here for I think nearly 8 months now, oh my gosh, time really flies. I can say that there has definitely been a lot of changes I had to get used to live here in Germany because the lifestyle is really different. Disclaimer, I can only say this from my own experience and living here in Düsseldorf in Germany. I cannot say this is the same for every single city. I grew up in Hong Kong my whole life, and these are the differences that I have seen between the two places. Yeah, so let's get right into it. So the first thing that I have to say, and I've mentioned this quite a bit in my social media platforms. No, I only have one that I use really the most, which is Instagram. I have complained a lot because I'm not used to the fact that shops, especially supermarkets, are closed on Sundays. And yeah, you might not know this, but in Germany, if you do come on Sundays, nothing is open except for restaurants and cafes. I think bakeries as well, but if you're urgent to buy groceries or, I don't know, you need an outfit for the day, you cannot go to a shop to buy that on Sunday. So this has definitely been a shock to me because for someone who is from a city that never really sleeps, pretty much everything's open. There is some shops that are open, like 24/7. Some clothing stores open until 1 a.m., which is also kind of crazy. I mean, who goes and shops for clothing at like 1 a.m.? That's also weird. But that is what I am used to in Hong Kong. And so having to move here in Germany really was an adjustment because you really have to plan ahead if you're working Mondays to Fridays. And if you don't have, there aren't really a lot of shops that are open 24/7 here, apart from, I think, shops in the gas station and maybe the airport, but I will not be accountable for that statement because I don't really know. Here is a personal experience. I think the first weeks I was here, I was walking around the streets on a Sunday and it's like completely empty. I kid you not, especially here in Düsseldorf. I live in Düsseldorf, and on the Königsallee, which is like one of the busiest shopping streets, on a Sunday, you basically don't see anyone. It really feels like an apocalypse on a Sunday. So yeah, that's really one thing that I was super shocked about and did not expect to experience here. It's also a little sucky if you do decide to travel within Germany and plan to shop on a Sunday as a tourist. Yeah, nothing's really open. So you really have to remember or keep that in mind if you're wanting to buy any souvenirs or things within Germany. Best to do that Monday to Saturday. The second thing I had to adjust to living in Germany is eating out a lot less. Eating out in Germany is very expensive compared to Hong Kong. In Hong Kong, we're just super fortunate to have the choices of restaurants in terms of price point. So you can decide if you want to eat cheap, you can go to like a Dai Pai Dong or Ta San Hang, and usually you pay around 50 Hong Kong dollars, which is €5. And for €5, you can't really get anything here in Germany, not even McDonald's, which is also surprising to me. McDonald's is actually very expensive here in Germany as opposed to Hong Kong. I think the only thing you can really get is like a kebab or a pizza margarita with nothing else. Yeah, that's really been something that I had to get used to. It's not a bad thing though, because it does force me to cook a lot more, and I've been learning to cook from different recipes, so that's been really awesome that I got to really do that in my space. And one other thing I still do not understand is how Germans don't serve tap water in the restaurants for free. I really find that super strange. I mean, someone please tell me why, because it doesn't make sense that the tap water here is safe to drink, whereas in Hong Kong it's not, and that is free in Hong Kong. Usually they serve you maybe like boiled tap distilled water or something for free. But here in Germany, like, no. If you want hot water, you gotta pay for it. They don't serve that to you unless you're like a cyclist. Apparently it's a law that cyclists can be served free water, or dogs. Yeah, if you bring a dog to a restaurant, which again is also really strange to me because you can't do that in Hong Kong, they serve free water to your dog, but they won't serve you free tap water to the human customer. So that's one thing I cannot get my head to wrap around. It's a huge drinking culture here too, so I guess maybe that's why, but still I don't understand that, and I think they should try starting to implement the free water thing here in Germany. So on to the next, and this is something I also am very shocked about here in Germany, the fact that public transportation is so expensive. I feel like because obviously Germany is a lot bigger in terms of transportation, there's a lot more distance to cover as opposed to Hong Kong, which is a lot smaller city and a lot more dense. I would usually have to pay, I think, 7 times the amount for one journey here in Germany as opposed to in Hong Kong. And for me, that's very, very expensive. And so I have found a solution to basically get a bike, and I've been biking everywhere because it's a lot cheaper, it's more healthy, and it gets me everywhere in a shorter amount of time when obviously there's no traffic. So that is my solution to it, but I really do hope that transportation does get cheaper here. Number 4 is the fact that if you do decide to move to Germany and live in Germany for a longer period of time, and I don't mean as a tourist, I think it is very essential to actually learn the language. For me, I have been traveling back and forth into Germany in the past 6 years, and I didn't really learn a word of German because I didn't really have to. And I think as a tourist, it's fine because you are bound to visit touristic areas which are more accommodated to foreigners, and they would usually have, you know, English-speaking people. But for someone who currently is living in Germany, I can say for sure that you do need German to survive in this country. It will make your life a lot easier. You will definitely understand a lot more, and especially for a lot of essentials. I mean, even with going to the grocery store, taking the bus, asking random people on the street different things, if you're lost, really helps. A lot of the younger generations definitely speak it, but English is still not something that I think everyone speaks. And so if you want to live in Germany, it's very essential to do that. And I've been learning German now for 6 months, so it's definitely helped me. I can really see the difference from first arriving here and not really knowing a word of German to now understanding a lot more and being able to ask the right questions and being able to also converse with the local people. I think that really gives me a lot more meaning to also living here in Germany. You do want to understand the culture and the language if you do decide to live in a different country, right? So yeah, I would definitely recommend learning the language before you come or while you're here. If you're working, if you're studying, or just plan to live here long term, definitely learn the German language. So the last thing I wanted to mention is probably something that may not be surprising because Germans are very known for being punctual, and punctuality is key here in Germany. I think for someone who comes from a city or country where people are not very punctual and I'm not really proud of that because I do that a lot myself. I'm always late for things. Well, this was before I moved here, and being in Germany really pushed me to step up my game in terms of being on time or even early, because German people really value that as a sign of respect, and it really is not respectful when you come even 5 minutes late or 10 minutes late without telling that person that you will be late. So yeah, for any of you who know any Germans or have been to Germany, you would also, I hope, agree with me that this is super important. There is nothing worse than being late here in this country, I would say. So that is a wrap for some of the points that I feel I had to adjust my lifestyle to living here in Germany. And you may ask, why am I still here? Well, for all of the things that I had to adjust, I feel like I actually do enjoy the fact that I'm living out of my comfort zone. Honestly, there have been so many times where I have questioned myself why I'm in this country, because it isn't the most, how do I say, friendly country to live in, and especially if you don't speak German, it can be quite difficult to survive. I mean, not survive, I'm being very dramatic here, but I feel like you really have to know the language, and to really integrate into this country is not easy for a foreigner, especially one who does not look German. And I mean, I haven't really experienced a lot of racism here in Germany, which is good, but I would say it has been quite tough, I think, especially learning the language and having my standards here when my German level standard doesn't really meet it in reality has been quite tough for me. The fact that visas and bureaucracy and the experience with the immigration office also has not been the most positive for me. So I think on the brighter side though, I do enjoy living here with this work-life balance that I have never really ever experienced in Hong Kong, where you know, everyone's just always working and going somewhere and doing something and having a goal in every single thing that they do. Whereas here in Europe, people really try to enjoy life. And I think that's been, you know, a huge eye-opener for me as a foreigner being in Germany. The fact that I can also learn from different people in terms of their lifestyles and how they live their lives, which is completely different to how I live my life, but at the same time you connect on so many levels. So if you have any other questions for me, I will be happy to answer them for our next video. And don't forget to subscribe, like this video if you liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!